Okay, what's up, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, so lots of exciting, unbelievable excitement happening in the European and UK market. The numbers are through the roof. So many people this week are having their biggest week ever. Some of you are coming back in the mix after creating space for yourself, and you're starting to get results. Some of you are doing things that you've never done before. And it's just so incredibly exciting to see, and there's so much happening. And I assure you, please listen to me when I say that this is just the beginning of something that is going to be epic. Now, with that being said, fill in the blank, ready? What goes up must come, type in the chat box, must come down. What goes up must come down. So why am I sharing that with you? Why? Because in business and in life, you're going to have ups and you're going to have downs. What's the most important thing to do? Whether you're up or you're down, what's the most important thing to do? Stay grounded. That's right. So many of you that are seeing this big spike this week, next week, don't be surprised if it's not as big of a spike. Next week, don't be surprised if you have a little bit less in your cycles, if you have a couple fewer enrollments. Don't be surprised if that happens. It's normal. What is it? It's normal. Now, is it also normal and possible that you could have an even bigger next week building on this week? Absolutely. But what happens after that next week? Maybe it'll plateau a little bit. Why do I share that with you? So that you manage your emotions. You've heard me say this so many times, and for those of you that are new, I want you to hear it maybe for the first time. Really important. High lows, low highs. High lows, low highs. What's the other thing you hear me say all the time? Before any success, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After any kind of success, after enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. So we're having this amazing week. All of this growth, all of these things are happening. But what do you do tomorrow? What are you going to do tomorrow? When you wake up, you do it again. We do it again. We do it again. We do it again. We do it again until. We do it again, and we do it again, and we do it again until. And when you can learn how to manage your emotions on this experience that's called life and on this experience that's called business, life becomes way more fun. And here's the other reality. Let me ask you a question. When you maintain a grounded attitude, but a positive attitude, so grounded does not mean sad or disconnected. Grounded doesn't mean negative. Grounded just means steady. But you have a choice. You can be grounded in a negative attitude, or you can be grounded in a positive attitude. What's more likely to keep your business growing? Staying grounded with a positive attitude or grounded with a negative attitude? It's a rhetorical question. Positive attitude, right? So even if your next week comes quote unquote down a little bit from this week, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you stay positive and you go back to consistently doing the work that got you to having this big week the last week. Does that make sense? Everybody just go like this if that makes sense, okay? So staying grounded is fundamental. Even if if all you're focused on right now is an extra 300 to 500 euros a month, or 3 to 500 quid a month, if that's all you're focused on, it still requires the same attitude. It still requires being grounded. It still requires not beating yourself up if you did something or didn't do something. It still requires doing your best. It still requires putting in that little bit extra work, but with the right attitude. So what I want you to all know is we are remarkably, incredibly, couldn't be possibly more proud of every single one of you and what's happening in that market. 3 years ago, I had a vision. 3 years ago, I had a very, very clear vision. Some of you were around when I stated what that very clear vision was going to be. Make no mistake that we are at the very beginning of that vision. For those of you guys that don't know what that vision was that we, this organization, this family, would have the largest group in all of Europe for Isogenics. All of Europe, that this group, this family, this collaboration of partners would make the greatest impact in all of Europe. No question about it. That you guys, this group, this family, this collaboration would change the way that people in Belgium, the Netherlands, UK, Ireland, Spain, soon to be the next couple of countries, would change the way that you think about how to earn a living, would change the way that you think about how to stay healthy, would change the way you think about how to do business, would change the way you think about what was possible in your own lives financially. 3 years ago, we talked about how this group, this family, this collaboration of people were going to become that group. And those of you that have trusted the process and stayed around and kept plugging in and kept plugging in, you're starting to see the beginnings of that. And we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do. See, all we did 3 years ago was we talked about the recipe. That's all I said was, all we said was, here's a vision for the recipe. Here's a vision for what we see as possible. The first couple of years, what we spent doing, finding the parts, finding some of the parts, sourcing some of the ingredients, right? Sourcing some of the ingredients, sourcing some of the parts, sourcing some of the right people to come in the kitchen, right? Allowing other people to leave the kitchen gracefully and lovingly and okay, but to create space for new people to come into the kitchen. And now where are we? Just so we don't get ahead of ourselves, just to be very clear. We took a pot, okay, we took a pot. The pot is on the stove. There's a little bit of, there's water in the pot. The burner is on, but is the water boiling? No, not even close. The water's not boiling yet. The water's not boiling. The water is on the pot. And maybe you'll see a little bubble here and there. That's all that this week is. Now, that's not to take away from it, but why do I share that with you? Type in the chat box. Why do I share that with you? Stay focused. Stay focused. We've got a lot of work to do. Got a lot of lives to impact. Got a lot of skills to learn. Got more parts of ourselves to discover. Got more personal development to do. Got more stretching. Got more mistakes coming. Got more quote unquote down weeks that are still on their way. Have more challenges that are coming. You're going to have people quit again sometime soon. The people that you thought were going to do this with you, they're not going to do this with you. The ones you thought would never do it, they're going to blow it up. The ones that you thought can, they can't. The ones that you think can't, they're going to show you that they can. It's all going to happen again and again and again and again and again until. But if we keep going, that one little bubble is going to become 2 little bubbles, 3 little bubbles, 4 little bubbles, 5 little bubbles. And before you know it, and I know how, and the reason I know this is because I've seen this movie before. I know how this particular movie ends. If you stay consistent, that water is going to start to boil in a big way, in a huge way. But chop wood, carry water. Now, I say all of that to us, so bring us back to this reality. There are a lot of things going on right now. Multiple groups are running different kinds of campaigns. It's all very exciting. But also please remember, all those things are great, but I want you to stay really disciplined in. Stay disciplined in the process. So remember, it doesn't matter what works. It only matters what duplicates. So these 11-day challenges, the 18-day challenges, the things that you guys are doing, fantastic. It's awesome. It's exciting. But please, 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 my strong recommendation, stay disciplined in the process, still use the system, still use the tools, still leverage what we have access to. Why? Because you want people to come in, however they come in, and go, okay, I can do that. Now, may I give a strong piece of advice? Would it be okay? Just go like this would be, okay, if I just give a strong piece of advice from my experience. Okay. One thing I really want to suggest is try your best to not become addicted to campaigns. Don't become addicted to campaigns. It's very easy to build a campaign and have a bunch of people go in and go, great, that worked. Let's do it again. But what you'll find is the second time around, not as effective. And then you go, okay, well, wait, if we can just capture the magic one more time, let's do it a third time. We'll do it a third time in a row. We'll do another campaign. And then what happens? Even less of a return. So a couple of things that happen if we become too campaign dependent. And again, I want you to hear loud and clear what I'm saying. The campaigns you guys are running are amazing. Amazing. Can you just go like this? If you hear me loud and clear saying that they're amazing, they're great. Nothing critical, nothing bad whatsoever. Fantastic. And it's my job, right? My responsibility to say, okay, here's a couple of things to consider. Now, how do I know that building campaign to campaign to campaign isn't necessarily the most effective strategy. How might I know that? How might I know? Because I've done it. A lot of experience. A lot of experience. The biggest thing to be careful of when it comes to campaigns is a couple things. One, you desensitize your network, meaning if they come to expect it, they'll never be hooked by the idea of it. If there's always an 11-day or 18-day or 30-day challenge to do every single month, there's always the reason to say, ah, cool, I'll do it next month. The most incredible campaigns, that's why you saw these ones that you guys are doing that are so effective. It's because nobody had seen them before from any of you. Nobody. And they were like, wow, this is different. This is unique. This is special. I want to be a part of it. But if it's every month, it's every month. I can do it anytime I want. Now that's one reason not to get campaign dependent. The other reason is, remember, how somebody comes into Isogenics is how they believe the business is done, which is why being disciplined in how you take them through the process, no matter what the hook is through the campaign, it's important you stay disciplined, because what else will happen is this. You bring in a group on a campaign, and you know what they'll say? You'll say, hey, let's text a few. Let's post on Facebook. You know what they'll say? Maybe, but what are they actually waiting for? What are they waiting for? Anyone tell me? They're waiting for another campaign. That's right. The only way I'll ever be able to share Isogenics is the same way it was shared with me, which is another campaign. And so they'll wait and they'll wait and they'll wait and they'll do nothing because they get addicted to the campaign. Now, I've seen this play out tons of times. Tons of times. So again, the campaigns are amazing. Pick your spots. Think like a business owner. Now, what you guys are doing brilliantly that I love, and I just want you to hear me loud and clear. I'm so proud of all of you. It's brilliant what you're doing. What I love is that you're talking about doing a detox instead of like losing weight. And that's brilliant, because right now, what are people focused on? They want to detox. They want to make sure that they're well. They want to take care of their overall system. And that's an intelligent marketing decision. So those of you that have been the leaders of doing all this, very, very intelligent, right? Smart to stay in that lane, in that space of detoxing and cleansing and rebalancing the body. Brilliant stuff, guys. I want you to hear me loud and clear that this is, that I'm really just saying, amazing job. And I want to help you avoid a steep crash, because that's what I've seen this so many times, where people build campaign, and you see them go, right? And you think, oh my God, what are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? But because the people weren't taught the skills, and the people were dependent on the next promotion or the next shiny object, and the people weren't really duplicating a system, they were just waiting for the next best thing, they went, and then what happened? Hard crash. Not subtle, not a little bit of a plateau, hard crash. Big drops in business for people, okay? So again, I'm not saying this to be scary. I'm saying this because, look, here's what we could do. We could come on here and I could say, it's all wonderful, and just never suggest any opinion whatsoever, right? But is that fair to you? No. One of the things we talk about on the webinars is we talk about the value of mentorship. I'm not the greatest mentor in the world. I'm not. There's a lot better out there than me. I'm sure of that. But here's what I know. I know it's my responsibility to pay forward some of the mistakes that I've made as a business owner, preemptively. So again, the campaign's freaking awesome, amazing. I'm sitting there going like, what? Like what? It's brilliant. You guys are amazing. You're rock stars. You got to hear me. And I'm overrated for sure. Or no, thank you for that. But for sure, stick to the fundamentals. Focus on the process. Stay disciplined in teaching people the system. Stay disciplined in teaching people the skills. Because at the end of the day, skills are what matters. And why do skills matter the most? If you build your whole business on campaigns, and all those campaigns are built on Facebook, and Facebook goes away tomorrow, and your entire organization is dependent on campaigns, what happens to your business? But if you're teaching skills and the skill can transfer to other social media platforms, then what happens? Your team can always make money. And what's most important, your number one job in this business, help your team get paid from a business side, right? When it comes to building a team, your number one job, helping your team get paid. Number one job. And the best way to help your team get paid, we put people into predictable, systematized, repeatable operations that are guaranteed over a specific amount of time to create a certain result. And when you guys do that, now you get to be the ones that say, hey, look, we designed a business in a box. I can teach you how to do this. We have a playbook. We have a blueprint. And when you're able to show up with that kind of certainty, what do you think is going to happen for your business when it comes to the types of partners you want to attract? Is your business going to go up, or is it going to go up, or is it going to go down? You have that kind of posture and certainty. It's going to go up, or it's going to go up, or it's going to go down. It's going to go up, it's going to go up. But most importantly, even when it goes quote unquote down a little bit, it's just going to correct like a normal economic cycle would correct. That means it would go up and then it'll plateau a little bit, right? The audio's gone for everybody. Better now? The aliens were interrupting. It was the aliens. The aliens. They're like, scramble the transmission. Okay. So when you teach based on skills and network marketing, it is my beard. It's messing up with the frequency. Don't be jealous, by the way. That's from a jealous man right there. That's an envious man right there. I know who's making that comment. I know. Steven would never make that comment. Steven would be like, yeah, man, grow that bad boy. Do it for all of us. All right. So it was your beard. That's amazing. Adele's like, yes, it is that beard. Get that thing off already. Week after week, I have to look at this thing. Week after week. Is it okay that we have fun while we do this also? Oh, man, I miss you guys so much. I keep telling everybody, like, what's the first thing you're going to do after it's all over? I'm coming to Europe. That's it. That's like priority number one. I'm going nuts. I talked to Mikey the other day, right? We were trying to count the days, right? Trying to figure it out. But anyway, when you build on skills and you build on principles, even your lows are still higher than a normal set of lows. But if you build on excitement and without substance, then the lows can get really rough to come back from, okay? So I just want to bring it back to focusing on skills, daily discipline when it comes to the process, teaching people how to get paid with simplicity, helping them understand what to say, how to say it. This will go boom in a huge way when people look at you with them and go, if she can do it, I can do it. If he can do it, I can do it. And they're not saying that. That's not a comment on like, oh, if that guy can do it, like, blah, 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 I can do it. It's not about that. No, it's, wait a minute. If he or she can follow a simple system, a simple set of questions, a simple set of answers, a simple set of a process, if he can do that, if she can do that, and she made 500 euro this week, or he made 1,000 this month or whatever, I can do that too. So the more disciplined you are in your daily habits, the more disciplined you are in how you do the business, the better. Because here's something I want you all to get. And we're talking, normally I would have this kind of conversation with just like, executives and above, but you guys are growing so fast that we've got to have this conversation now. We've got to have this conversation now. Why? Because I want you to build something solid, foundational, strong. Doesn't make it matter to my business. I want you to hear, do you guys get that part? Here's what I want you to hear this. I love you so much. I want you to get this. It doesn't matter to our business. It doesn't matter to our business. I could do campaigns all day long, bring them all in. You know what that does for me? We have a huge organization. But that's not my vision. That's not why I came back in the game. I didn't come back in the game for that. I came back in the game for you to be the best trained team in the world. So that you could have that organization, so that you could be the team. So you could be the big leaders, not me. I'm trying to go sit in a cabin somewhere writing a book, man. I'm trying to chill. I don't want to be on social media forever. I want you to have the skills. I want you to have the glory. I want you to be on stage, not me. So I've got to share this with you guys at this point in your career. No matter how new you are, you got to hear this, that principles never change. And principles are what allow your business to grow over time. I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday. And they were frustrated. And they have a great business, but they were frustrated. Why were they frustrated? Because they did that thing that humans do, and they do this thing called comparison. Not that any of you have ever done that before. None of you have ever done comparison. I know that. None of you have ever had the experience of, oh, they're doing, none of you, not you guys. So we're just talking abstractly here. Not that it's ever. And she says, this person says, did you ever get into comparison in your ice journey? I said, never. Never. And we watched our peers, people that came in at the same time as us, grow faster than us. We watched people come in after us, pass us by. And what did we do? We did what we teach. We cheered them on. We congratulated them. We loved them. And we did that purely and authentically. So it wasn't on Facebook, yay, congratulations. And then behind the scenes, it was like, oh man, they're blah, 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 blah. No, no, no. It was true celebration. But you know what else it was? It was me knowing and Eden knowing we're going to stick to our principles. We're going to remain steadfast in our process. We're going to believe in our system. And we're going to teach it and teach it and teach it and teach it until. Now, Eden and I received a great honor last month in terms of where we ended up in the total overall people in the company, whatever. And when I was having this conversation with this person, what I said was, hey, all those people, most of those people that we saw come in and go past us like this, guess what? Us, in a time when things have been a little bit up and down, because there's up and downs in businesses, us, and then, now it's not saying anything bad about them. It's not. It's that when they were passing us 3 years ago, we didn't care. We didn't pay attention to what they were doing. We just cheered them on. We saw what was possible. But we stayed committed to the long-term development of systems and skills. And that stuff can be boring. It can be boring to say the same thing over and over again. It can be boring to have the same conversation with people. It can be boring to use the same video or the same webinar. I get it, it's boring. But you know what boring is? Boring is freedom. Boring is walk away money. Boring is real security for you and your families. That's what boring is. That's what boring is. So I share all of that to share with you that if you keep your head down and stay focused and teach your team how to do this like you're doing an amazing job, and stick with principles. In the end, principles always win. Techniques will change, principles remain the same. So the campaign that you guys ran, that's a technique, right? It's a technique, brilliant technique, awesome. But now the principles have to come underneath, the principles have to hold it up. Principles have to hold it up. When you don't build on principles, there's a saying in the United States that you're building on a house of cards. Do you have that saying too? Right? Build on a house of cards, or you're building on sand, right? There's just not steady. I'll share a personal story. Many of you have heard before that I was engaged once before I met Eden, years before. I was engaged to be married to a woman. And I knew from the very first time that we met that we were not supposed to be together long term, but we met under unique circumstances. We had nothing in common, nothing. But for 4 years, I forced my way into staying in that relationship. And eventually, everything came crashing down. And why? Because the relationship was built on nothing substantial. There were no values. There was no principles. There were no shared agreements about what was important in our lives. And it doesn't mean that she was wrong and I was right. It has nothing to do with that. It means that we got, no pun intended, we got into bed together based on hype, based on excitement, based on let's just see how this thing plays out, which at times in life is good. But when you're building something meaningful and you want something to last, and you're okay with going long-term, and I mean long-term vision, if you're okay with that, and that's what you see for yourself, then build a solid foundation. Build it and drive it as deep as you can. Because when you drive it as deep as you can based on solid principles and solid fundamentals, no one can ever take that away from you. Even when it drops down a little bit, it's still going to be higher than anything you've ever experienced in your life. So anyway, I don't know really what I talked about tonight. I hope it was valuable for you. We're at the half hour. Anyway, I'm blown away by all you guys. It's just amazing. It's so exciting. It's so exciting. We got a long way to go. We have a lot of work to do, and pat yourself on the back for what you're creating and who you're becoming. You're leading this company. I know I say that all the time, but you don't get it. I get messages all the time. All the time. I get messages from corporate, from Sharon Walsh, from Eric Hoover, from Kathy. What are you guys doing over there? What's going on over there? And I say the legends are doing what they do. The legends are doing what they do. Anyway, like I said before, we're so proud of you all. Congratulations on an amazing, amazing, amazing week. Qualification for Fiji starts tomorrow. Go to isafyi.com for all the details on that. But again, couldn't be happier for all of you. Such a big week. Congratulations to everybody. And chop wood, carry water, baby. Chop wood, carry water. Have a great evening. Have a great start to the week. Much love, and we'll talk to you soon.